What's up, Bruins fans? Johnny Gamut here, and I'm joined today by Peter Waddy of the men's soccer team. And Peter, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Gamut.
It is where soccer is right around the corner here. We'll be back on the pitch in just a matter of weeks, and the semester starting back up. But I want to talk a little bit about last season. Obviously, it was kind of a season of change. We came into the season, a new coach, Coach Hodgkin at the helm, and a new playing style, some new players on the team. But what I was impressed with, and I think what a lot of fans were impressed with, was although we had kind of a rough start to the season, you could just see the team really get that chemistry towards the midway point of the season. And as a result, we made it to the region championship and really had a successful season. So just take me through last year and how you guys were able to persevere through the hard times and still wind up with a very successful season.
So I believe it all came down to the mentality individually for the players. With Coach Hodgkin coming in, a new play style, a new tactics, and just a new vision, it really took us as individuals to come together as a team and embrace what he had to offer as a coach and his mentality. And through that, well, of course, the beginning of the season was a little rocky. I myself, I've watched some gameplay of the first couple games of the season. It was definitely rough, but some growth spurts for sure. It was growing pains, I should say, and just how we slowly began to bond even deeper as a team and as individuals working hard on our own game. We came together as a team, and it showed towards the end of the season as we made it to the regional final.
Yeah, absolutely. Region final was a heartbreaker for us. I know we really battled back and forth in that game against Pensacola, and they eventually went on to win the national championship. So when you look at that game and you look at kind of, for lack of a better term, a measuring stick, how do you feel like we measured up against some of the best in D2?
I believe we definitely showed that we are capable of a lot, really. And I believe this season especially I'm excited for, because I think we will come out on top. We measure up well against them, but even last season we felt as though that we were capable of being number one. We just fell short in a few areas, obviously, with the results as it was. But this season I know a bunch of guys have been working hard, and we've had that loss in the back of our minds that has been driving us forward, and the passion that we have for the game, and also to win the silverware is what we're looking for. So
yeah.
Push us on.
Absolutely. Now, you guys typically in the spring will get kind of an abbreviated spring season, play some exhibitions, get some time to train together, and obviously that was completely ripped out from under you this spring. So just take me through. We've been asking some of the student athletes, just take us through that time period, because you go from, we're going to have some limited practices to all of a sudden, the season's canceled in the spring, so all of a sudden everybody's leaving campus. Just take me through some of the emotions that you and some of the players were going through.
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotion for sure, because obviously you're heartbroken and I mean, I speak for myself, and I'm sure I speak for many of the student athletes and the student body in general. A roller coaster of emotions, because of course you're excited to get home and see the family and just to get home, really. But then at the same time, you're leaving friends, the comfort of being at school as well. There was a lot of uncertainty going to the online courses, but I believe the faculty did an amazing job in transitioning to that. But then for the athletic side of things, it was definitely, you weren't quite sure, because you're expecting to be training, for myself, for soccer, training through the spring. But then we're all told to go home. So now that time in which you thought you had is now your time, and you have to manage it, and you have to go out yourself and train. And I think a lot of the guys have done very well in preparing for this season and taking charge of their own time and making the most of it to improve their game. So
one of the things that you guys get during that spring season is also just the camaraderie of being around each other. And obviously when you guys are used to being, going on a summer off season or those kinds of things, but this was a longer off season. So what have you guys had to do, or what have you guys done in this off season to stay connected and to be able to still, work on that bond and stuff, even being away from each other?
Right. So the team has a group chat on GroupMe, so we stay connected through that. We encourage each other to continue to better their game physically, mentally, technically, in all aspects. And also, we've had Zoom meetings throughout the summer as well, in which we just caught up with each other, asked how their weeks were, how everyone's week was, and really stayed connected that way.
I've been asking a lot of student athletes this question, but as you look back, obviously COVID has just been a worldwide thing that everybody has been affected by. Personally, for you, what's the biggest thing you think God has taught you through going through something like this?
Certainly, I think the biggest thing is what God has been teaching me is that it's not about the circumstances, but it's about how I react to the circumstances, and just making sure that I understand that God is always in control and that He has a purpose in this. And it's really taught me to trust in Him more so than I have before, just in my health, my family's health, and how everything's going to go down in the future as far as schooling, work, each and every little thing in life He does provide for. So it's certainly been a blessing as far as, I know COVID's awful in itself, but there are always lessons to learn when there's trouble about.
Absolutely. Looking ahead to this season, we've got a lot of new guys joining the team on the roster this year. Kind of collectively, as you look ahead to the 2020 season, what gets you the most excited?
I think just being back with the guys, just enjoying this camaraderie that we have and being excited. As I said, a lot of the guys have been working very hard over the summer. So I'm excited to see them and see how they've improved and see how we improve as a team because of the individual efforts that have been made, sacrifices that have been made over the summer. So it will be, I'm excited for this season because I feel like we can really do something.
Yeah, it'll be awesome to see soccer coming up in a couple of weeks. Bruins fans, you can follow along. A lot of schedule changes and things changing because of COVID, so be sure to stay tuned to bjubruins.com for the latest information. Peter Waddy of the men's soccer team, again, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.